quad turbos, 12-into-1 headers. Ah! Don't freak out, engineers. It's gonna work fine. And I gave him my normal sass. You can take your Veyron and stick it. Design knows no bounds. This is precision work. What's up, people? It's time to get back to the King Zero V12 Supercar build, which I am very excited about. And I just want to thank you all out there for your positive words of encouragement. Last week, with regard to this car, frankly, I was getting pretty frustrated and actually kind of down. Here, come on, we'll take a look. It's going to be fun. Today, we're going to work on the exhaust, a couple other things. I want to show you the new sheet metal shear I got. We're going to work on that, and I got a couple things I want to read. But I really do appreciate it because this project is awesome, first and foremost. And the thing that I'm most excited about this is I am proving that with ingenuity, old school fabrication and thinking, and some basic tools like a decent welder, but this just plugs into 110, awesome Miller welder here, some basic chop saws and grinders, basic stuff, you too can build a supercar. I'll have less than $20,000 in this car, and I promise you, it's gonna show up every nouveau riche paddle shift driving cars and coffee wanker there is. I don't care if you're in a Bugatti, this is cooler. Haha, yes. And I look forward to smiling, which is my quiet way of rubbing their noses in it, and my less than quiet way of rubbing their noses in it about making these YouTube videos and how I'm showing up all you guys in your supercars with my MIG welder and 20 grand with a V12. Anyway, let's move on. I do have a couple things I want to mention. This is really nice. Some people reached out to me after last week. There's one gentleman earlier too, and for people who have written me emails lately, just give me a little bit. I'm deluged, so I will get back to you. But I had a designer write me from the UK at Jaguar and Land Rover who did a really amazing concept, potentially wants to collaborate on doing something in the future. And I had this gentleman writes, hello, my name is Charles. I was a car designer at the Ford Motor Company in Dearborn. Just wanted to encourage you. I love what you're doing, so forget all the hate, criticism, and keep going. I cannot wait to see the results. Kudos. Best, Charles. And this is something somebody wrote me that really meant a lot. And this person writes, Casey, you were gracious enough to entertain my son's Boy Scout troop a while back. You were open and honest about Genius Garage's ups and downs. You dared the kids to dream, and you were genuine. That little bit of kindness goes a long way in making this world a better place. Yesterday, I was listening to VinWiki and your channel as I was in the office. It struck me that the lockdown has brought you down in some way. You seemed angry and depressed. We all have hopes and dreams, and you should continue to strive to get to Indy. But that does not define you. You have made life better for the people that watch your videos, students that have benefited from Genius Garage, and the people that call you their friend. You seem to have a happy marriage. That alone is something to be proud of. Yes, it is. Forever, thank you. You may not have all the monetary things that you desire, but you have had the most wonderful experiences and got to do things most people can only dream of. Flying with the Thunderbirds, building your own plane, and building supercars are experiences that we, the viewers, can only experience through you. Keep smiling and know that whatever you do, do it with the zest for life that you usually exhibit. Social media can bring a lot of hate, but those people are generally not the people you should worry about. I have zero social media. I only deeply care about what my close friends and a few relatives think of me. The rest of the world is irrelevant. Live your life the way that makes you proud of yourself, and to hell with the others. Anyway, guys, I just want to read that. I know it's a little bit long, but I genuinely appreciate that. YouTube is hard. It is hard to keep doing this. It's very hard to do this level of work or that level of work or work with the students and keep ahead of the game and just keep making videos every day. And eventually some things will bug you. And it really got to me yesterday. So let's just move on and have fun. I want to build this exhaust. And the other thing too about this, I got to be honest, you guys, this is different than just wrenching. Like if you're building engines and machining, that's one thing. If you're wrenching on cars, if you're doing restoration, if I was just working on this Corvette, it's one thing. That's a little bit easier to do for long hours. But the trouble with the Zero build is it's totally creative and I have to concoct everything spatially in my mind and figure out what will work. And that is mentally exhausting. So that's something that gets into it. But it's exciting to be able to build a car from nothing. So I'm gonna move this ground so the camera guy doesn't die. Here, cameraman, you come over here. Let's look at the exhaust system here first. I want you guys to see what I'm doing right now. So Okay, and I know everybody's gonna go out there and say, quad turbos, 12-into-1 headers, ah! Casey, do magic time-consuming things you don't have time for. Yes, all of those things are awesome, but the first thing I wanna do is get this done so I can drive it and rub everybody's nose in it that spent $500,000 or $1 million on their supercars that are lamer than this. And to do that, I need an exhaust system that works. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just leave the stock manifolds on the BMW. You can see right there. Okay, so what I did was, there are 4 of them, 3 cylinders each into those. And then it's 1 3/4 inch diameter pipe that simply comes off that. So I cut the original pipe, and these are the original like downpipes, parts of the exhaust on the Beamer. So basically the Beamer had 4 separate exhaust systems that eventually find themselves into a muffler. So anyway, that was them there. And I cut the flanges off. They're like a taper fit that go on the bottom of the cast manifolds here, and the flanges, and got new nuts and bolts. So what I did was, and we can see over here, I ordered from both Jegs and Summit. I like to frequent both those places locally. 180-degree bend right here, and 180-degree bend right here of different radiuses. So it would, if I need to fit one into the other, it works just fine. So this front one has a tighter radius and then bends over here. The back one has a longer radius and comes over here. So the exhaust system will effectively be the same length by the time it gets out. So for this is my quickie exhaust system that'll look really cool, kind of be old school, like a bunch of headers and stuff coming back. And if you want to come to the back, you can see what's going on. I also, if you guys remember, I bought all these really cool stainless steel megaphone mufflers. They're not going to do a lot for muffling, just a little bit, take the nasty out. But this is what you'd find for the cafe race or bike scene, and it's 1 3/4 on the inlet, which is the same size. And I got 4 of them, of course. So if you look here from the rear to the front, I also got these flex couplings, which frankly, I meant to get them to be a little bit longer, but Summit didn't really measure them well, so I'm kind of gonna make do because I don't have time, and they'll work just fine. They look sort of cool. Now, I'm using mild steel rather than stainless steel on this because I'm just gonna coat them or paint them. Those tips are stainless steel, which I could clamp on, but clamps aren't very pretty. But the truth of the matter is you can weld stainless steel right to mild steel and different alloys of steels really well and easily, and it's fine. So what I'll do is I'm gonna simply weld these stainless tips to the mild steel muffler. It's gonna work just fine in this circumstance. Okay, freak out. Don't freak out, engineers. It's gonna work fine, okay? So that'll work, and what I'll do is I'll take each exhaust system piece off, and then I will simply do a high temp paint on all the mild steel stuff, and then of course leave the stainless steel flex joint bare. So it's gonna look really good. I think I'm actually gonna paint the exhaust tubing white. I'm into that. It's kind of like the 60s. A lot of Italian race cars in the 60s had color-coded like ceramic header paint. The Italians always loved white, and I'm sort of into that too. Now, the thing I just thought of, and I better not screw this up or I'll never be able to take this apart without cutting it. And you might need to come over here to see. So there's 4 pipes, and they're each held on by 2 bolts here. So if I unbolt this one and the bodywork is on, will I be able to finagle this out of the car? I don't know. Potentially not. So if I'm not going to be able to finagle that out, then what I'm going to need to do is make this fitting right here be able to be clamped. So I'm going to have to order clamps for right here. And then that way I can remove each one of these pieces out of the engine bay here, and that slides off. I'm afraid that if I weld all that together, which I'd really like to do because of time, it'll mechanically lock and not come apart easily. So we're not going to do that. I think what I'll end up doing is each of the 2 tips on either side, those parts will be welded together. So it'll be like a dual exhaust connected via 1, and I'll have to make some hangers to hold it. And then each one of these pipes to the engine will be an individual. I've just tack welded all these things here right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and cut the lengths I need and go ahead and start welding some of that. Now, the thing that I have to decide, and if you want to go back there, you can kind of get a vibe and see. This picnic table is the rear wing. And I took these sawhorses, these plastic sawhorses, and then I made something to support it in wood, just some 2x4s and a 4x4 here screwed together to hold this level and at the angle I want. And what you can see, if I remove all this crap from the top of the picnic table, people say that the wing on my Viper is not functional. I disagree. It functions as a picnic table often. Okay, so here's the wing. It's an old racing wing. And yesterday evening, I made a mount for it. Now, truthfully, this mount is not the ideal thing. It's not terribly aerodynamic. I would rather have 2 thick pieces of aluminum, but I don't have aluminum or an easy way to cut it, so I made it out of square tubing, and I'll probably fair it, but it's gonna be really strong. Also, it can pivot into different points if I want to change the angle of attack, but generally speaking, wings make their most downforce before they separate the flow at about 15 degrees. So you can't just change angle of attacks massively without stalling it and making it basically just create drag and not downforce. So I'm going to set this here, get it out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't kill the camera guy. And we're going to put this over here. The other thing fun about this is with having a removable aerodynamics in the rear of the car as well as the front, I can quickly like switch it over for like a rally version and then raise the ride height, or have it kind of like a track version at the time. Now, if you want to look back here, we can get a much better feel. I got the wire form, the buck frame here, and you're probably going to want to come around the back to see this aspect. I still have more of the body to do, so I better guess this correctly, because the taillight system comes around here like this, probably 1.5 inches wide, and it will go the whole way round. So really, this is going to need to be up here to be right. It's going to need to come up to basically the center line so that it's going to clear everything just fine. When you get into the art and principles of design, sometimes weighted works better, so maybe it looks better if it's at 1/3 on the bottom rather than right in the middle, or maybe it looks better at the top. Or maybe you want to like have it blow on the bottom of the wing to be like a blown diffuser. I'm not going to do that in this circumstance. So there's lots of things to come into play. The other aspect is when that wing is on, it's going to have supports that are in this area. And then this is where the rear part of the frame is. So I've got to make a tube that goes across here, but still allows the transaxle to come out well. And then have the support go in and down to connect to that, and then over there to support the wing. So I can't screw this exhaust up right now where it comes through. An idea I had, you guys feel free to comment or yell at the screen, but I will have already have done it by the time you're commenting. Isn't it depressing? Okay, so one thing that's kind of cool is these naturally angle sort of inward. And what would be, I think, kind of cool is if these all came on and sort of pointed at a focal point in the middle. You know, it's cool if they're out here, but they just blast backward. But I'm wondering if they're at a cool focal point here like this, will each compression or sound wave that come out create kind of a cool sound? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe it's a visual thing. But then my other concern is if I have them sort of pointing at each other like this, will that look weird visually? The other aspect is if you got them kind of next to each other, are they cooler like this? Are they cooler like that? Do you stack them up like this, which is kind of rad? It's tricky. It's tricky. So that's what I'm trying to figure out what the heck I want to do right now. I kind of like the idea of them sort of pointing inward to each other. That's not normal. An MV Agusta motorcycle exhaust, like a 750, a Brutale, or a 750, F4 750, or like 1000, sort of does that. They've got 4 exhausts. And they sort of go like this out the back, which is really cool. And I'm super into that. But the problem is the wing support. So, gosh, I probably have to get the wing back. Design. I don't know what I want to do here, guys. This is frustrating. This is frustrating! First world problems of eccentric automotive artist people. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Design knows no bounds. Yes. Casey Putsch, leader of Genius Garage, builder of cars, user of no directions, is having a problem tying his shoes. Darn it! Here, bring the internet over here to watch me struggle. Yeah, this is good, isn't it, people? You didn't bargain on this today. Watching me struggle with my shoes. I need help. I need an adult. Oh, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. God help us. Casey's terrible at things. Okay, here we go. All right, is this the right length? Did I do that right? Okay, cool, I did. I'm gonna go, let's cut this real quick. So I've got more pipe. So we'll cut them all real quick, throw it on there, and it'll be awesome. But I gotta cut this at a funny angle because I cut everything else at a funny angle. This is precision work. Yes! Yes, yes. Okay, there's that. Cool. So one of these cut at an angle, arbitrary angle of worthlessness. Hooray. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay. We're getting somewhere. I am not a failure. Says me. People are like, oh, I bet your mommy tells you that. No, she doesn't like me. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go right out there. Awesome, awesome. Here we go.
You're rushing for me, you don't have to.
No, I'm rushing because I want to get this car done. And show up dorks with their paddle shifted supercars. That's what I want to do. Look at that. That is not bad. Yes. 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 I am using the best tools and I am having the most fun. And that is important. Look at that. That is genuinely not terrible. Yes, yes. Okay. That's kind of cool. Okay. Now, I got to do over here. Well, the fortunate thing is about this slides in there, and I have a little bit of leeway in and out to adjust things, which is helpful. And I also have this cool piece of wood here. So I can cut that there. This is gonna be precision. Also, I'm pretty excited. Miller Welders is going to send me an awesome welding table, which is gonna be much better than the farm boy way I'm gonna do it, of throwing this old welding blanket on the floor and eyeballing it. Yeah. So we're gonna get a great welding table, shields for the sparks, vise, clamps. I'm pretty excited. Okay, safety gear. Casey, how are you gonna know if it's straight? I'm gonna eyeball it. That's how you putt, and that's how you shoot, I figure. That's how you weld exhaust, too. Okay. I was yapping so long my welder helmet turned off. Okay, this is pretty thin metal. Definitely not that thick. Okay, here we go. Okay. This might go really well.
Okay, I'm gonna tack it. I eyeballed it first. Cool.
All right, now that it's tacked, I'm gonna just sort of see how it is off a little. It's a little smaller. You know what? That's gonna work. I got an idea. Okay, here we go.
Now I gotta be honest.
It's kind of dangerous to tack it with your finger like this, because if the wire is burning red hot and you accidentally move over and it's still coming out, it'll go right through your glove and start going through your hand. Ask me how I know that. Yes. Also, the students can confirm I am really good at giving a flowing stream of obscenities at any moment when molting metal tries to burrow itself into my hand. Yes. All right, you guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that zaniness. That's the way it is a lot. Usually when I'm working on this, it kind of has to be by myself and at night and turn on the music, get my jam. To be able to be this creative and think about this much and consider the art of it, the engineering, the mechanics, the size, and run all the basic simulations in my head of how it works from airflow to mechanical stresses, and then just figure out how to create something that'll be worth a darn with what I've got. It requires a lot of mental exercise. So it's pretty cool. I enjoy being here, but it gets to a point where I can only go so long every day with doing it, and it wears me out. And then go into the next thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the zaniness, making it a little bit more fun. Usually when I work on this, it's by myself, and I find the time when I can be the most creative is generally gonna be like in that 6 o'clock from like, I don't know, maybe like 5 o'clock to like 10 o'clock p.m. is when I'm the most creative, in my opinion. So that's when I really got to do this. So I try to do like boring like emails and calls in the morning when I'm more business-like and like, here's the way it is. And then by the rest of the day, I get more silly and more creative. And then I need to go home and see my wife. So I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and naturally that you will subscribe, but please click that bell so I can continue to bring you wholesome and entertaining automotive content. Also, huge thanks to Avalon King ceramic coating. They're supporting this channel and making this all possible. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to using it on all of my vehicles, including my old dirt bike. Ceramic coating bonds directly to the surface of your paint, trim, and plastics to give a long-lasting shine that beats all waxes. It lasts for years and it's easy to maintain. I've got it on my Viper right now, and my car has never looked this good. So give them a try. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to see you next time.